One Dutton scene is confirmed to happen in the Yellowstone Season 5 finale. The penultimate episode of Yellowstone Season 5 confirms Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western drama will top the Dutton story with a vital scene. The sixth-generation Duttons have a slow-paced outing in what could be the second-to-last Yellowstone episode, with potentially just one installment left in the whole story, as Sheridan has yet to issue an official verdict on Yellowstone Season 6. The show has a lot of details to wrap up, and some stories may go unfinished. Still, the Yellowstone Season 5 finale will doubtlessly feature one scene, confirmed by Kelly Reilly's Beth Dutton in Give the World Away. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, Beth gets an important update about John Dutton, Kevin Costner, building up to an emotional season finale moment. As the Duttons auction off parts of their ranch to raise money for their mortgage, Case, Luke Grimes, reports to his sister and Monica, Kelsey Asbell, that the coroner's office has called and their father's body is ready for someone to pick up. As Monica makes arrangements, Beth tells her husband, Rip Kohlhauser, that she wants to have a private funeral for her father, closing the chapter on John Dutton IE's fate in Yellowstone. The penultimate episode of Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 promises John Dutton's body will return to the ranch. While Beth notes that she doesn't want to invite anyone to her father's funeral, saying it is just for him, Yellowstone's penultimate features a public ceremony for John at the auction before the bidding begins. Following the American national anthem, the auction manager says a few words about John's legacy as Teeter, Jennifer Landon, and Case ride into the pen on horseback, each leading a horse without a rider to commemorate their loved ones. Yellowstone has saved John Dutton IE's funeral for the Season 5 finale, since the event didn't happen in Episode 13. John's funeral is a fitting way to cap off the season, but with countless unresolved storylines, Episode 14 has much to tackle. We still don't know who will win Beth and Jamie's, Wes Bentley, war, nor the fate of the Dutton Ranch. However, a heartbreaking 1883 reference in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, may foreshadow the end of the Dutton saga in Montana, as we understand it. Still, while anything is possible, John's funeral is guaranteed. The news that her father is coming home shakes Beth because it's been a long journey for John's children since the Montana governor met his tragic fate. However, substantial reasons for delaying the release of John's remains exist. With a push from Case, the detectives reopened the case of his father's death and investigated it as a homicide, and the coroner and detectives' due diligence indeed took time. Yellowstone Season 5 has also tackled other storylines in the fallout of John's death. In the quiet wilderness of Montana, where the wind howls across the rugged terrain, and the sky paints itself in hues of orange and purple as the sun sets, the Dutton family stands on the precipice of everything they fought for. The Yellowstone Season 5 finale promises to be the most pivotal moment yet in the saga of the Duttons, with one particular scene confirmed to send ripples through the family and the fate of the Yellowstone Ranch. As the show builds toward its epic conclusion, there's one moment, one final confrontation, that fans have been eagerly awaiting. A tense and charged scene that sees John Dutton, the patriarch of the family, face off against a figure from his past. This scene isn't just about personal grudges. It's about legacy, power, and the unbreakable bond of family. But the stakes are higher than ever before. It's a showdown that could alter the course of the Duttons' future, and the ripple effects could be felt for generations. The scene begins at the heart of the Yellowstone Ranch, the land that John Dutton has fought tooth and nail to protect. The air is thick with the tension of the final moments before the storm hits. John, his face weathered by years of leadership, stands alone on the porch of the family's ranch house, looking out at the land he's built his life around. There's a quiet determination in his eyes, but it's mixed with a deep, lingering sadness. This ranch has always been more than a place to him. It's a symbol of everything his family has sacrificed. And now it's in jeopardy. Behind him, footsteps crunch against the gravel, the sound growing louder as someone approaches. John doesn't need to turn around to know who it is. The Dutton family has never been one for words, and in the silence that falls over them, there's a shared understanding that something monumental is about to unfold. The weight of history hangs heavy in the air, and the tension is almost unbearable. "I knew you'd come," John says quietly, without looking over his shoulder. His voice is steady, but the years of hardship and loss are evident in his tone. Beth Dutton, the firebrand daughter who's never been afraid to speak her mind, steps into view. She's never one to sugarcoat things, and in this moment, her presence feels like both a warning and a promise. She's not here just to make peace. She's here to protect her family, to make sure that the blood and sweat her father and grandfather poured into this land will not be in vain. "You know," she says with a wry smile, her voice sharp, "I've always been amazed at your ability to stay calm in these situations. It's like you're waiting for something to change, to give you a reason to back down." John finally turns to face her, his expression hardening. There's a flicker of something in his eyes, something almost imperceptible, like the final embers of a long-burning fire. "Sometimes I wish it were that simple," he replies. "But this land, Beth, it's everything. It's everything I've ever known. And it's the only thing I can't let go of." Beth steps closer, her gaze never wavering. "You're not going to have a choice. They're coming for it, and you can't protect it forever." The words hang in the air like a warning, but John doesn't flinch. He's been preparing for this day for years. The fight for the ranch has always been a ticking clock, and now the hour is here. Just as the tension reaches its peak, the rumble of engines breaks the silence. The sound grows louder, and soon a convoy of vehicles comes into view, kicking up dust as they approach the ranch. The figures inside are unmistakable. The Beck brothers, the ones who've always wanted to take the Yellowstone ranch for themselves. They've been a thorn in the Dutton side for years, and now they're back to finish what they started. The Duttons know what's coming. There will be no peace talks this time. No negotiations. This is a battle for survival. And it's not just about the land. It's about everything they stand for. John Dutton has never been one to back down from a fight, and he's not about to start now. The convoy slows as it reaches the edge of the ranch. The Beck brothers, dressed in their finest suits, step out of their vehicles, a smug smile playing on their faces. They've always seen the Duttons as a means to an end, and in their eyes, the Yellowstone ranch is the last piece of the puzzle. They believe that once they take control, the Duttons will be nothing more than a fading memory. But the Duttons are not so easily defeated. John Dutton steps forward, his eyes locking with the Beck brothers. The tension is palpable as the two men stand face to face, the weight of their years-long rivalry finally coming to a head. "You think you can take it from me?" John's voice is low, dangerous, and filled with the kind of quiet fury that only comes from a man who's lost everything, except the one thing that still means something to him. "This land isn't just mine. It belongs to my family, and I'll be damned if I let you take it." For a moment, there's a tense silence. The wind stirs the grass around them, and the distant mountains seem to watch with bated breath. Then, without warning, the first shot rings out, shattering the stillness. In that instant, everything changes. The fight for the Yellowstone ranch has begun in earnest. But it's not just a fight of fists and bullets. It's a fight of wills. A fight to see who will ultimately define the legacy of the Dutton family. Will they survive? Will they lose everything? Or will they prove, once and for all, that the Duttons don't go down without a fight? As the scene unfolds, it becomes clear that this is the moment where everything the Duttons have fought for will either crumble or solidify. And for John, it's the moment he's been waiting for. A chance to prove that, no matter what, the Yellowstone will never fall into the hands of those who don't understand its true value. The Duttons are ready for war. And by the time the dust settles, no one will ever forget the price they paid to keep their legacy intact.